Robert Moore is from Madill, Oklahoma, is representing the National Rural Water Association. Robert?
Good morning, Senator Inhofe and members of the committee. I am Robert Moore from rural Oklahoma. I am a general manager of the Marshall County Water Corporation. I'm representing all small and rural community water and wastewater suppliers today through my association with both the Oklahoma and the National Rural Water Associations. Our member communities have the very important public responsibility of complying with all federal regulations and for supplying the public with safe drinking water and sanitation every second of every day. Most all water supplies in the U.S. are small. 94% of the country's 51,000 drinking water supplies serve fewer than 10,000 people. I want to acknowledge that rural America is very appreciative of you, Senator Inhofe, for standing up for rural communities on environmental issues. Your actions have improved the lives of all rural families and the environment and the public health in rural USA. Small and rural communities often have more difficulty providing safe, affordable water due to our limited economies of scale. While we have fewer resources, we are regulated to the exact same manner as large communities. In 2016, there are rural communities in the country and even in my county that still do not have access to safe drinking water or sanitation due to the lack of density or the lack of funding. I am what you would call a working general manager. Much of my day is spent in the field, repairing water lines, operating backhoe, dump truck, helping conduct routine maintenance on our distribution system. If someone in the community loses water in the middle of the night, the emergency call gets forwarded to my cell phone at home. But Marshall County Water has a similar story to tell, and many other rural and small, such as many other rural and small water suppliers. We were started to provide the first water service to rural communities that had limited access to water or marginal water wells. In 1972, we began operations to supply water to about 800 farms and ranches. The federal government provided that funding to begin and later expand our water service through low-interest loans from USDA. We now serve approximately 15,000 customers through a little over 6,000 taps. In crafting water infrastructure funding policy, we urge Congress to consider the following. First, local communities have an obligation to pay for their water infrastructure, and federal government should only subsidize water infrastructure when the local community can't afford it and there is a compelling federal interest, such as public health, compliance, or economic development. We have recently been denied a $3 million USDA low-interest loan for a 15-mile raw water line. USDA determined that we could afford a commercial loan from a bank and did not need the federal taxpayer to subsidize our water infrastructure. The USDA and EPA SRF funds funding programs achieve this principled objective by requiring that federal subsidies be targeted to communities most in need. One of our concerns with the new WIFIA program is that it lacks any needs-based targeting, credit elsewhere, means testing, or focus on compliance issues. This year's EPA budget requests decreased funding for SRFs and substantially increased funding requests for the WIFIA program. This gives the appearance that limited federal water subsidies are being moved from programs targeted to the neediest communities to the communities with less need. Second, all EPA water funding programs should primarily be dedicated to the compliance issues with EPA federal mandates and standards. Third, profit-generating water companies should not be eligible for federal taxpayer subsidies. In closing, please know that the SFRs have no limitation on size or scope of a water project and can currently leverage federal dollars to create a much larger loan portfolio. Oklahoma currently operates a water fund which leverages dollars at a 1-to-10 ratio. According to EPA, most SRF funding is allotted to large communities. A simple review of projects funded by the SFRs included in my testimony show numerous projects funded that cost over $50 million and some over $1 billion. Thank you all for your assistance and for this opportunity. I'll be happy to answer questions.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Moore.